Hey guys, it's Emilia here and welcome to Journal Engineer. Today I'm going to start a brand new bullet journal. I'll be using this journal for the entire 2023 year, so the first few pages that we're going to set up now are really important. I'll be using Dingbat's notebook Art collection, the Arctic variation and cover. I'll be using the same brand notebook for the last year and actually the past 2 years. So if you want to see how they perform, just check out the previous videos from my channel. So when I open the journal, the first page of it is dedicated to the corresponding nature landmark, in my case the Arctic, so I have a full page of interesting statistics and infographics. The next page is my name tag page, where eventually I will write my name and address, but as I want to draw something really detailed over this page, I will leave it for another video and I'm gonna skip it for now. Here is my 2023 cover page that I showed you a time-lapse of in my last video, where I announced what I'm going to do for this year, and in a nutshell, it's gonna be black and white journal. I flip the next page and it's time for action. The first page that I'm going to do is my dashboard page. This is like a massive yearly brain dump page that I use all year round. The creators of Dingbat's notebook decided that they want to add some pre-made views on these two pages, like index, as you see, a color key and a Dingbat's key. Maybe for some of you who use it, it's especially for beginners, it's lovely to, write down your keys, your bullet marks, but honestly, I don't feel like having such a key, as I know my bullet marks pretty well. I've been using them for more than 10 years, I think, right now. So I'm going to make them blank by painting them in black. I'm using an Indian ink. It's one of the most budget ink paints for fountain pens, actually. If you want to cover anything with black and to be paper friendly, to not soak too much, just buy a fountain pen ink. Usually they're made in such way so that they dry pretty easily. I need to be very careful in order not to paint the rest of the pages underneath, so I use a draft sheet below. I start covering the black from the center of the page and then I go to the corners. When I'm covering the corners, I make sure to always move from the inside to the outside. Then I leave the brush and I move it backwards again and start from the inside to the outside. In this way, I don't allow a paint to fall under the page and to cover the other side of this page. This happened, I think, last year, and yes, today I'm extra careful. If it turns out that I have more ink on the page than it can actually take, I just spread it around with a brush. I put a second sheet under the other page and I continue. This is one of the most convenient and used pages of all yearly pages that I make. The interesting thing about it is that I don't write in it, but I stick a sticky notes on which I write ideas, random notes, etc. Well, this time, however, I will make a significant improvement in the design, which you're gonna see just in a moment. The pages must be completely dry first. Since they're quite wet right now and they want to bend or roll, I clip them at the four corners and wait for them to dry straight. It took them around 10 minutes to dry completely, so while I'm waiting, I want to make myself a coffee, since I filmed this video at 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm not usually a coffee person, I'm more of a tea person, but my boyfriend had some caramel coffee and I couldn't resist. So yep, I think this is my first coffee in the last year, I think. While I was filming this video, I did this page till this point, but on the next day, actually, I decided to add more fields. This is the improvement that I did, since as you saw in the old notebook, most of the little sticky notes are scattered all over the page. So this year I want to bring some order on this page. That's why I drew these 5 fields, and later I'm gonna assign a titles to each field, to have one for books that I want to read, to have one for ideas that I want to make at home, to have one field for the ideas that I want to research. So yeah, it's really convenient because I'm doing sticky notes, so basically I can move them all over the fields. I recommend this spread to everybody. We move on to the next page. Both are left by Dingbats to be indexes, but I will use them as something else. As you may have already realized, this year I decided to experiment with black and white notebook and themes. If you have been here in the past year, you know that I really love colorful and quite artistic themes. However, at the end of this year, I felt like I've fallen into my comfort zone and it's time to do something more different. I'm using washi tape that works great for decoration, and I use it to blacken the parts of the page in more different way. On the sides and on the bottom, however, the distances are way smaller, as you can see, than the width of the tape. So I cut it exactly in half and glue the half symmetrically. By the way, a quick journal tip: if you have to cut the tape like I did right now and stick it to the page, remember to always stick the side that you cut in the least visible place. Usually the tape, is cut by factory, so when you get a tape like from the supermarket or the craft store, not the supermarket, both of the sides are perfectly cut, because they're cut from the machines. Unfortunately, when we cut it with scissors, we always do some fluctuations and we cannot cut it really straight. That's why I use the factory cutting, on the both sides, so I can put that cutting on the visible side, in my case in the inner side, you can see it right here, so it can be more appealing and nice look to the eye. And the other side that I cut with my scissors, I'm gonna end up aligning it with scissors anyway to the page. In terms of good pair of scissors for such things, I sincerely recommend getting a small scissors. If you're in a city where there are no craft stores, go to the pharmacy where you will surely find a nail scissors. Usually the nail scissors are really good and really sharp because they need to cut nails. So yeah, I really advise, it's a really cheap and affordable way to find a good scissors. On those two pages, there will be two fields that I used last year as well. The left page will be simple index of my pages, but I will divide it into columns. One is for the monthly pages and the other one is for the special pages. Usually it would be awesome for me, to use one column and not two, but unfortunately I don't have enough lines to do that, and that's why I just split them in two. On the right I will have page for a well-being. This is a very interesting page that I made for the first time last year. In it I write things for which I given money for good, for example donations, courses, sports, in short things that made me feel good, and preferably not material things. Like last year I subscribed to local magazine that needed a support, so this is something that makes me feel good. I donated money to the freeride team of Bulgaria because they needed to go to international competitions, and I also got a 1-month fitness card. It's not something that I actually donate to somebody, but it's something that is good for my physical health and respectively for my mental health. In my opinion, this page is extremely important because very often we delve into our problems and into our daily lives, which makes us more often see only the mistakes that we make and not actually that we're good people. This page helps me realize that I'm a good person, at least I'm trying to be, and it's really nice when I open it and just write something on it or just read what I've done this year. It's just amazing. On a white sheet that is from this notebook actually, I write the names of the pages, so then I can stick them with glue as headers above. I draw them with grey Faber-Castell pen and I outline them with Micron 003. I really like this font, I use it really often in my notebooks, so if you want to see more of it, just look one of my past videos. The last thing that I do is to cut them so there is a white border on the letters themselves. In this way they're gonna have much greater contrast on the black part of the page, where they're gonna be better seen. To make the cut look way more interesting, I try to follow every curve of the letters and then I stick them with glue and write the titles of the columns. On the left page I have a page number, a special pages, the name of the pages, another page number and the monthly pages names. On the right I only have date, details and how much it costed. And with this we conclude the page and we continue to the calendar. My calendar has been the same every single year for the past 3 years. When you find something that works for you, just make sure to keep it because, it works for you. That's why I have the same calendar. So in the middle I write the year between the two pages, 2023, and a bit of washi tape for decoration, and then I do 1 to 12 months. Well, putting the tape on the right side felt two straight cuts, so later on I replaced it with a bit of ragged end. The calendar is one of my most important pages because I use it not only as a calendar, but rather as a memory page where I write down what events took place during the year. You can see below on the right or in the left how the page and the calendar looks in my previous notebook when it's already filled. As I have said more than once, it's very important for me to record the important moments of my life because I really forget a lot. I mean, really people, I forget a lot, and I think that my life is a good one, so I really try everything to remember it as it is. And this page is one of the methods. One day when I open all these notebooks, I will remember what I did on this year. With a Faber-Castell marker or lighter, I'm not sure how these type are called honestly, I write the names of the entire 20 months. On the third month, actually, I felt that maybe this marker was too saturated and is gonna bleed on the other side as well, and actually this happened. And this reminds me that I forgot to mention something really important in the beginning, and this is the pen test page. This is the first thing that you want to do at your journal. This is the page, it looks this way in my journal. Basically, when I take every notebook that I'll try to make something beautiful in it, I open the last page and I start writing with every single pen that I'm gonna use in it. So in this way I can see the colors, I have straight reference to the colors, and on the other side I can flip the page and see which color is bleeding through the other side. It had feathering, it had bleeding, and yeah, it's really useful page for you. Unfortunately, I have it, but I don't look at it. So right now I have a bleed through my pages, but it's not that much, so I continue to do my monthly names. Usually in my bullet journal, if you have been here around, you know that I write a lot of calendars. Like I have calendar for each weekly, I have calendar for the monthlies, and yes, I have a lot of calendars in my journal. I really like to know which month we are and which week we are. So to save time, I use stamps. Usually I have pre-made calendar stamps that save a lot of time. Only here on the calendar page at the start of the year, I write every single day by hand, because it's some kind of ritual that I have to go through every single day of the year in advance. You know, it gives me some kind of perspective how many days I have, because I write them for like 30 minutes. It's a lot of work, people, but it's kind of ritual that I have. With that, we're ready with our calendar. I'm turning the page and we're gonna make our birthday page. Here you can see how far the Faber-Castell is visible from the other side. It's not that visible, but it's still see-through. We need to learn from our mistakes for the next time. I'm gonna watch my pen test page first for sure. The page I'm going to make here is for birthdays. It is a very personal page, honestly, because here I enter only the names and dates of my closest friends and family. I'm not a fan of Facebook and social network reminders for reminding me that my loved ones have a birthday. I want to have them written down in advance so I can prepare in advance. In this way, my attitude towards the birthdays are way more personal, and yeah, they're my closest friends, so they deserve to be in my journal. I have divided the page in 12 pieces, and on each of them I am going to draw a different width. To be completely honest with you, I often forget to turn this page, which means that I also forget about the birthdays. Exactly the opposite of what I want to happen. For this, since last year, I have started to transfer birthdays to monthly pages. I mean, at the start of the year, I write all the birthdays here, as I do right now, but when I start making the theme for the corresponding month, I always have a month at a glance field where I also put the birthdays. After that, sometimes I write them down, and even on the individual days of the month, to make sure to not forget. By the way, if you like this video so far, don't forget to give it a like or even subscribe. I will not spam your homepage a lot. I mean, probably I'm gonna post once a month or something like this. So yeah, if you enjoy it, welcome to the family. The next page is my reading room page. There I record all the books that I have read. I usually make it look like a room, but since I don't have a lot of color choices this year, because you know, black and white, I decided to just make a bookshelves and make them a little bit more interesting. In the past, I have read a lot of books, and sometimes I was reading like a book in a week, but more and more I don't have the opportunity and the time to read more because of the different activities that occupy my free time, including this channel, because it takes me like 12 or 15 hours to shoot and process a voiceover of a clip and then to edit it. So before I started this channel, I used all this time for reading. There is also a moment when I get oversaturated with books and I just need to have a rest from reading and just stop for a while. Maybe this is also the reason why I haven't read so much books in the last year. So that's why this time there are significantly fewer books on the shelves than in the previous years in my journal, because I just don't think I'll read more than 20 books this year. And reading books is not something that needs to be done by force, you just need to feel it. To make the bookshelf look nice, I first drew it with a pencil, then I repeated the lines with micron pen. As I repeated the lines with micron pen, I lifted the pen where the branch came out so that a monolithic structure was obtained. Then I drew the books. I tried to make them different lengths, thicknesses, or just placed in a different way. This really makes the page look more interesting and not just a regular bookshelf, which is not bad. I mean, if you have a regular bookshelf, it's awesome. Since I want the shelf to have volume, I draw the books a little bit levitating, as you can see here, and now you're gonna understand why I did this. I start painting the back shadow of the bookcase. For the lower branches, the boards are visible from the upper side, so it actually happens that the levitating books lie on them. When we shift our gaze upwards, we see the boards from below, and this is why I draw them from below. And as you can see right in the middle, I almost don't draw the back lines of the shelf because I assume that they're at the level of our eyes and we don't see them. It's like a game of perspective. With a gray marker, I cover the front edge of the shelf, to still have some color, as far as gray can be considered as color. And with that, we're done with this page and I'm moving on to the next one. I start with the right page where my goals page will be. Every year I write about 12 goals to achieve. They're divided into 4 different branches: professional, personal, hobby, and skills. You can see that the categories are like extremely close to each other, like meaning, but actually for each one of them you can assign a specific goal. For example, for the professional goals, I choose goals that will develop me professionally. Maybe, for example, to learn how to code, to make website for my work, and something that develops me professionally. The next goals are personal. Here I rather set goals for self-development from a more psychological point of view. Also here I set goals related to my social contacts with my friends and family. In general, things that would improve my mental health as well, and that to the close people around me. About last year, I made that goal, for example, to call my grandparents more often. Another goal was to go to big events with friends at least once a month, which improves my social health. So yeah, I think you got the idea with this one. My next goals are skills. Here I write down the things that I want to learn that will be useful in my life but are not directly related to my professional development. For example, I want to learn to climb rocks, for example. Last year I aimed to learn radio amateurs and get certified, which I did actually. It's something that doesn't do anything for my professional development, but it's something good to know. The last goals are the hobby goals. They can be a little bit tricky because they can fall under skills or under personal goals. But I distinguish them by one small thing, and this is that my hobbies are very often not connected to important skills that I do and that would help me in life. Here I get like smaller goals, like more like reminders. Read a book per month, expand the YouTube channel, things that aren't exactly skills, but I would really love to do them. Well, I hope that I was clear enough. Write down in the comments, by the way, what you want to achieve, like one goal for 2023, and in which category would you put it in. Since travel is a huge part of my life, I always put this page next to my goals. It's like giving myself extra motivation in life. Traveling the world has been something extremely valuable to me. I'm not sure how to explain it here, but I can say that I'm really in love with the cities and the people. The planet that we live on is so big and we're one race that created so many different cultures and customs, and I can't help but, be interested in them. And I can only hope that I'll be able to see as many places as possible and meet as many different people as possible and have the chance to communicate with them. And I hope that I have enough time for this in my lifetime. By the way, when I travel, I always have a travel journal with me, and I hope that this year I can have enough time to make a video tutorial how I make it, what I put in it. I have a lot of travel journals, by the way, because I'm traveling since a really younger age. I mean, thanks to my parents, they really like to travel as well, and just they gave me this culture of, loving the world and the people. Talking more about the page itself, at the beginning of this page I wanted to make a map of the world and then to cover the countries that I've been to, and later on I found that this would be too complicated because just the earth is complicated. And for this I changed the idea to a simple globe, and with my Chrome 08, the thickest one that I have, I made a dotted line for the paper airplane. I'm really happy how this page turned out. You can see my other pages, my other travel pages, each time they're different, and yeah, you can see them in my channel in the videos before. Now I will leave this page right here without filling it, but later I will share a short video probably of how I feel all 41 countries I've been so far, so yep, stay tuned. On the next page I will make my memory page, like the real memory page, not like the calendar. Yes, you can see that I really like to record moments and memories in my life. So this page is gonna be with 12 fields, one for each month, and during the year I'm gonna draw in each field with what I'm gonna remember this month. The completed page looks something like this. If you want to see the full flip through of my past journal, you can see the link right now in the right corner or link in the descriptions. Since I'm very limited by colors, at the beginning I drew a lemon for the center, but somehow it didn't look that good, so I replaced it with a moon sticker. Then I painted the last of the lemon with black, so it can be, somehow more good looking. Something interesting is that I will leave the left page blank for now. In the previous years, I have made a space grid page on that page where I graph different parts of the page, and with this it's easier for me to plan weekly pages and their distribution over the journal. It is a very useful page for beginners. You can see it right now how it looks like in my part journal. So if you want to learn more, again, check my 2022 setup where I describe it how it's made. The link is in the description. Since I don't use it that much anymore, I want to leave that page blank. In this way, if I need a tracker during the year or something else, I have another idea for a yearly page, I have a place to put it, again, in between the other yearly pages. And in fact, I really like this idea of freedom and space on the pages. And for that, I'm gonna leave and another page blank, but you're gonna see it just in a moment. Especially if you're a beginner at the beginning, you have no idea which pages you need and which ones you don't. And sometimes in the middle of the year, you see a new idea that you want to implement right now in your journal. And it's really useful when you have blank pages at the beginning where you can fill all these new pages and experiments that you wanna do. So yeah, we're gonna see at the end of the year what I did with them. On the next and last page of the setup, I make my YouTube tracker. It's a bit strange that it should be black and white given that the YouTube colors are red in principle. So this tracker is a progress tracker. These trackers are one of my favorite types. You can use such tracker not only for a YouTube channel, but if you have one, write it down in the comments. I would love to check your YouTube channel. But also for savings, for losing weight, or if you want to gain weight. I love them because generally you come up with an end goal and then you break it down into little steps, and every time you achieve a step, you enter the date that you achieve it. It's really unique because you open this page only when you achieved something, so when you write it down you feel amazing, and you don't open the page when you didn't achieve it, like you don't feel stressed for not achieving something, which sometimes is good for some goals, and sometimes, it's good to feel a little bit of stress, to motivate yourself. And in this line of thought, I want to express my gratitude to all of you that are currently watching this video. Maybe for you it's just another set of video, but it means a lot of me. So Yeah, thank you a lot. In this video, I ended up this page to here, but at the end, it looked a little bit more whitish for me, and that's why I blacked all the squares and I wrote over them with white ink, and I think it looks way more better. The left page I'm gonna leave empty so I can have 2 pages in this yearly spread that I'm gonna use in the year if another idea pops up. If I have no ideas, then probably I can write or stick something on them. We're gonna see. So I think we finished with the setup, guys. It's really new for me to do everything in black and white. It's gonna be really interesting. Stay tuned for the rest of the videos. And if you enjoyed this video so far, yeah, don't forget to give it a like or even subscribe to the channel. I'll be more than happy to have you here. If you have any questions on this spread, just ask them in the comments. I'm here almost 24/7. Well, if I'm sleeping, I'm not here, but you know, I'll try to answer as quickly as possible. The next video that we're gonna do is gonna be our January theme, which is gonna be cosmic black and white. Oh, I can't wait to share it with you. So, see you there, guys, and until then, don't forget to stay on the sunny side.